So the sentiment of the Backlash pay-per-view, like its practical gimmick, is primarily a rematch or a semblance of a rematch on pay-per-view. Uh, and Jesus Christ, Raw was terrible, but it wasn't as bad as last week. Da-da-da-da. No, it was really still not good. All I could say was the structuring was a bit better. The segments weren't that as cringy as last week with the tomatoes and the main event and the way too much women segment. I mean, that's not even a sexist thing. Like, do you really think these females could draw? And I'm not saying that because all females can't draw, because that's untrue. But if we look at what they've been building with their current women's champion, Asuka, Charlotte Flair. I mean, Charlotte Flair, she can make up a name for herself, but other than the Flair name, no one knows what really makes up Charlotte Flair. That she rips off the theme song, the gimmick, the entrance, and most of her arsenal, other than she does top rope moves and gets a handstand whenever she does the figure four. The figure four. And no charisma. So that's already like many things dropped out what made Ric Flair great. But Styles came back and Omos after celebrating in Nigeria. That wasn't a racist joke, all because his tag team partner's black. I think that's legitimately what they were doing for 3 effing weeks. So the New Day issued their rematch clause, just saying that you guys don't have the chemistry. You know how many times we won the? It's the basic. You got to be champions. You got to prove it speech. Why don't you guys go for singles gold or some crap? Kofi, aren't you like a former world champion? And Xavier is already like yeah, he has the ability to be a talker. So why isn't he pushing over singles careers? Why aren't any of the New Day that are shown to be already the most accomplished as a cohesive unit? Why don't they want to push for a singles group? I don't really care. This match was better than Mania. There was a trust fall dive from the top of the outside, a cool dragon screw off Xavier Woods. It finished off of over the shoulders of Omos into a freaking phenomenal forearm. Decent opener. And this was pretty average, even though this was a tag title match. And this was advertised over on Twitter. But it just felt like generic heel crap with generic babyface crap. The New Day just need to break up or something, man. Next up, we had Charlotte Flair with Dana Brooke. They had this match for no reason, even though Dana Brooke and Mandy are feuding with Nia over tripping storylines. So now they transition them into jobbers. Like, just losing to Charlotte Flair for no damn reason. The match was just generic because Dana keeps botching over spots. The most often she does is a handspring back elbow. They tried to do it again, like 2 times in a row. Even it's never shown to beat anybody clean, and a crap takedown of the back of the knee just so she can take an advantage, and it ends off the figure 8. And after that, we head over to commercial break after Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, that I guess has some authoritarian position, even though it never was issued if she was injured or anything. She just given this position out of nowhere. After having most of her TV time on SmackDown, she comes over on Raw with no relationship overhand of why she even shortened the suspension of Charlotte Flair. Then it's just, you want to give me a title shot? You're bringing me to the triple threat match? Get me to the triple threat match. Why she didn't do that on fucking backstage after she just beat Dana Brooke? Like, what title opportunity she gets over facing Dana Brooke? It's so stupid. They even had this thing like, you're hiding stuff from me? Adam Pearce acting like a retard for no reason. Like, you didn't see her just on camera literally sneaking a grown-ass woman, like a woman taller than her, to the Thunderdome. And she doesn't even try to get security to escort her out. Don't you have more power than Shayna Baszler? Is she like your assistant? Like, I don't get the logic here. Then we had Damian Priest against John Morrison. This should have been a good match. This should have been a good match. Recapping over, we had Elias and Jackson Riker attempting to toss tomatoes after the New Day lost their tag title match. And then Orton got hit with a tomato with just Riddle walking by. That's some crap shit, man. That's some Disney XD humor, man. I understand, like, everybody wants to point that, oh, you're an older fan. So that technically means the humor doesn't apply to you. Do you ever see the growth of of youthful demographic gain over Monday Night Raw's TV ratings? Like, come on. Shining Wizard, a Falcon Arrow. There is a good leg sweep. It was an average rest hold. Like, this match was pretty okay. At least Priest picks up the win over Morrison, so Morrison just picks up over the losses. Like, well, we haven't seen him in a week on TV. Miz takes it like this is just triumphant return for a guy that hasn't been on TV for like a week. That's technically, at least this is like not the worst Miz and Morrison segment because they didn't do much. Like, they're just having the match for the sake of a good match. There's no story over Priest and Miz and Morrison feuding, other than I just want to see a good match. I just want to see a good match. Like, I want to see a rhyme or reason why these guys got a feud. Other than Priest aligned himself with a guy who beat him in Mania that's a celebrity, what's the point of Priest doing this? Why doesn't he want to push for the US title and the heels interfere? Like, give like a semblance of jealousy or something for me to get behind why I should care if Priest loses or Priest wins. There needs to be like a rhyme or a reason, and a reason that I can get behind. Like, there's no threat if Priest loses. Then we had Lucha House Party and Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. This match was a bit too long for teams that had no entrance. Both teams, no entrance, just to subjugate a split up of two team members that didn't even matter if they were even together after they got out of the Hurt Business. There was barely anything building up to this after they've lost quite twice clean to the Viking Raiders that were now subjugated from having a 2-match winning streak to only having an RK Bro segment. This is ridiculous. And I don't even know what's the like it's the same thing like when Damien Mizdow was a thing. Like, one person's getting over from it over the experienced veteran and it doesn't look entertaining. And it's something that I don't want to rewatch these segments because they're really not that funny. I know it's just slow kids finding this a bit entertaining because they find Riddle because they know him over for NXT and he's doing comedic segments that don't even make it feel like haha funny. This match was alright though, like nothing happened. Like, we had Senton, heel kick, Inzaguri. Cedric was the only person trying to give some emotion into this match, but it really didn't do anything because this match had no threat into it. And I guess because they're in the losing streak that they just immediately broke up like the 25th tag team like in just 1 year. You don't know how many tag teams broke up in just under half a year, guys. And it comes with Cedric saying that he's been carrying this group of a boat, saying that if it wasn't for him finding Shelton finding Cedric and bring him to the Hurt Business, that he wouldn't be having a career right now. I can't wait for this as a storyline to be more explored in the main event because this took very little build. Like, they foreshadowed a bit of an implosion with the Hurt Business with just Cedric and Shelton having something like that. So how come they didn't end the Hurt Business like that later in the year to begin with, over egos colliding with Shelton and Cedric? Stupid. And now it's even worse because it feels like nobody's that emotionally invested into it because they did this weeks after they've been losing before. There's been nothing to foreshadow it, so I'm not behind this. Like, come on, why is segments going more into to chicken leg ass Charlotte Flair, barely into Bobby Lashley, other than MVP having over promos, going like, okay, what if Braun Strowman and Drew team against each other, or at least he thinks he can try to get in the heads of the top contenders to try to make sure they can take the other guy out, or at least take out Strowman so McIntyre and Lashley can have their rematch. So I guess it's alright promos off MVP. I wish we had more VIP lounge segments than the last 2 goddamn weeks of Miz TV, because Miz TV be having the worst segments over on Raw, while your world champion misses a week of TV, barely has a semblance of even most promo schedule time over a month of being world champion, and he's not taking over as this big deal. He should be revolving around your show. This is ridiculous. No one gives a shit about Humberto Carrillo. No one cares about Angel Garza and Drew Gulak having a match. By the way, Drew Gulak and Angel Garza had a match. This was like built in from like a backstage segment. Like, this is how minute feuds can be scheduled up when you have 3 hours of time and you can structure a roster better because you have more people than on SmackDown. Do I really want to get invested off goddamn Drew Gulak and Angel freaking Garza? He wins off the worst finishing move ever, the wing clipper, that looks like an awkward neck-breaking sex position. Like, it's like rest hold, side headlock, drop kick. Garza knew this was going to be done quickly because he literally did the takeoff pan thing earlier in the match. This match was nothing. It was a quick win, and the dumbest shit happened when he took off the butt of the rose, then shoved it up Drew Gulak's ass, and then kicked it up his ass. Huh? It just, oh god. Was that supposed to be funny? Was that supposed to be funny? Bruce, is this a semblance of humor that you think children even will get? Hornswoggle humor was more brilliant than this. Yes, him making cartoonic walls off him drawing that shit and doing some Looney Tune crap was more entertaining than whatever the f you're supposed to do with pro wrestlers. I thought Garza was doing this storyline when he was trying to chase over Nia Jax again, or the stuff he did with Charlie Caruso. What direction are you going with some of these mid-carders that you keep bottom feeding over for, like, minute storylines? Now I feel like next week Drew Gulak wants to shove something up his ass. This is some homoerotic crap. This ain't something that I want to see two undersized men feuding for. You don't even revolve the show around the 24/7 championship. All you leave it for is Old Spice commercials. Come on, man. And then we had RK Bro versus Jackson Riker and Elias. This match just literally happened over a tomato segment earlier in the show when Elias and Riker were trying to get them back for accidentally hitting both Miz Morrison and Riker and Elias with tomatoes after, oh, they didn't like the song they made because they were making fun of me. Like, it's shit like this that makes Raw unwatchable. I'm being really serious. And if you didn't watch this, the 27 replays they did on Raw, that it had Miz and Morrison getting hit in the nut in the face in that order. That's about it. And that's how. And now that Orton that didn't even chase them after literally tossing tomatoes, like, the two buff men literally tossing tomatoes at you. You don't try to kill them before you even start the match. And then the authority figure comes out and orders the match later on the show to actually bring some order. Like, I don't care. I really don't give a shit about RK Bro. Like, this comes out of nowhere. I understand Orton's going to turn heel anyway. It's the same thing, like, like, or when Kevin Owens was tagging over with the New Day for like a few weeks, and then he turned heel just for Kofi to have a feud. It's like a bunch of mid-carders wasting their time over with main eventers that like bring no chemistry, have no charisma, like nothing entertaining comes over goddamn Matt Riddle. Sure, he can be a good wrestler at times, but he's just not entertaining to me, man. And whoever does there, I was like, bro, why didn't you like Matt Riddle? Like they don't have any explanation. Cause they don't care. They just want to say something for the force ability to have optimism for whatever shit they're watching. Like RK Bro sucks to me. The floating bro off the elevated DDT. Jesus Christ. That's about it. That's how the match ends. There was like a few near falls, even though we know Elias barely gets over off any of his finishing maneuvers. Every time he's treated over like a jobber, and I like Elias, but they keep wasting him like this. He should be in feuds that people should be always itching for him to have his comeuppance, but every time he loses. That's why I don't like stuff like this. They don't know how to treat heels, and people bitch about turning their baby faces heel when they don't even know how to direct heels themselves. The heels are supposed to be the most desired to lose to. I mean to beat, and it doesn't feel that way when it comes to a guy that can literally elicit a crowd reaction. Then we had Mansoor, the like Mustafa Ali light coming around facing Sheamus, and I think an open shot. No, it was a non-title match. And this came earlier when Humberto Carrillo comes around with his segment like, "I will beat Sheamus," and then he just attacks him backstage, looking like what Irish people looked like back in the 1940s when they were treated worse in New York than black people were. Oh goodness, like Sheamus looked awful. I hate what his non wrestling attire looks like. But Mansoor made his appearance, mocked Sheamus, wanted to make an impact here on Raw. I don't know why him, because of the Saudi stuff, and they need a top guy like him. Mansoor like has nothing going for him. Just just another long tights, kick pads, long haired jobber with a beard. Irish curse, Celtic cross, Hurricane Rana off the bro kick. I think it ends over on a DQ by the guy just debuting. Humberto Carrillo hits a drop kick, and then the U.S. champion gets taken over after a DQ finish over a debut of a young guy from NXT, and you have him getting fed a drop kick. So I don't know how this is already built up with two no names, a guy that already chases mid card titles and barely gets up any semblance of a highlight of it. Like, there's no highlight reel. Nobody tells me a highlight reel of Humberto Carrillo. I understand there's a blandness of Andrade, but at least Andrade shows that he has some semblance of talent that, okay, I can see a cool move off Andrade. Like, come on, guys. You guys are forcing me to like these dudes. And next we had, of course, the women tag titles on the line. Yeah, the jobbers of Naomi and Lana that didn't even win their 6 women tag match from last week, or even had an easy victory on Nia Jax or Shayna Baszler. And the same chicks that lost in the first in that tag turmoil match back at Mania, they get title shots to Mandy and Dana that they're literally feuding with. So that's stupid. And they lose off a leg drop. It was a heel kick. Uh, Reginald was getting involved off Baszler. It ends with the Kikina clutch on Lana. That's about it. The match was completely pointless. Every time Shayna and Mandy, Shayna and Nia just get in the ring, they suck. They're subjugated to two storylines in two different parts of the show, and it never catches anybody's attention because they're really not that attractive. They can't wrestle, and they're just awful in promos. And they're unlikable people. They're SJW ugly and fat. So just that you need to pick a struggle in that case. Match was like going nowhere later on. I think on YouTube it was like, oh, we need to get a person. We need to get another person. We'll get another jobber. Yeah. Because it's always 3 against 2 on that case. Always 3 against 2. I don't know why you tag with this chick, even though you're a former women's champion. Why is Lana even still here? Like, over most of the time I've seen her, she has a near 10-year in the company of doing absolutely nothing. She can barely talk. She can't act. That's a bare minimum of wrestling. The only thing that she has for her is that she keeps looking a tiny bit worse every year. Because the woman back then, at least, like 2015, she looks like a freaking supermodel, even though that Ziggler and Rusev feud was garbage. But you know what this woman can do. Be an alright valet, look good for WWE photos, and does her job as a manager slash wife for Rusev. Like, that was perfect for Lana. And her accent was to the point. I'm not getting that now. Now they keep putting her in these crappy segments over with Naomi, having her with these crappy tag team matches, having no essential gimmick, then they come up wearing both glow up crap, and they can never wrestle well. So I don't know how this is getting any of these chicks over. Then our main event, Lashley versus Strowman. This match was just a rematch from their feud back in 2019. Well, the only thing that notable for was the stage and Corey Graves saying "Holy shit" in the overly panned shot of the after effect of them hitting. Like, they didn't even rush over the commercial break or transition back to the commentary. Like it was their first time ever seeing a stage break. That happened several times on WWE, especially on pay-per-view. Like, come on, man. Main event was alright. This ended as quick as possible. Big dropkick, shoulder tackle on McIntyre. Took a big one. He was on commentary. Got hit over to the outside, over by Strowman. It was a couple holds. McIntyre comes in later on for distraction. And it ends with Strowman arguing with McIntyre. Lashley takes a spear with a Claymore off McIntyre. So they're really trying to build over this triple threat. I don't really care over this standpoint, because I know they're still trying to force over Strowman to be a tough guy, even though I don't mind the Lashley and McIntyre feud. So that's the only thing I care about. Hopefully, I get some semblance of enjoyment come WrestleMania Backlash, because the build is shit. Especially for Charlotte just being part of they even had Sonya Deville segment with Charlotte Flair, and they had Rhea Ripley complaining about it. It's like, weren't you heel before? Why do you care if Charlotte, the chick you screwed over, gets a title shot? And then a subligation of you still acting face. Like, what's the direction for Rhea Ripley? Nobody even know who Rhea Ripley is. Asuka comes around, always spewing Japanese. Then it ends in a fight with, of course, Rhea Ripley getting close to the authority figure's face, so I guess she's supposed to be the badass anti-hero she-male. Gets assaulted by Charlotte, then Asuka fights to build 2 triple threat matches, 3 top women, and that still can't draw. Amazing. This show sucked. At least it was better than last week, because the matches felt a bit better. Mansoor brings nothing over to the product to affect it other than talent relations for WWE with their current connections with Saudi. Other than that, it just feels like a complete cheap whack job that this is the direction that they're going with, to think this is going to actually get more people to watch. Ugh. Crap show. How you felt about Raw? Like, comment, subscribe if you think not. This is the DST show, and I'm out.